Hey guys, it's me again. I'm actually recording my second video after doing my first video 3 hours ago. It's because I checked the weather. In my first video, I commented that weather in Toronto is really horrible. I was right again. For the next week, it'll be either rainy or cloudy, which means I won't have luxury of enjoying the sun for a while after today. So I'm trying to take as much sun as possible. And since I'm outside, I thought I might as well just make another video. Yeah. So I just wanted to talk about what property accounting is. Because when I was looking for a job fresh out of university, there wasn't really much of an information out there what property accounting is or development accounting is. Just to go over my career briefly, I started in development accounting and I stayed there for 3 years while working on my CPA designation. And after getting it, my project came to an end and there was no project for the development team for the foreseeable future, which means I wasn't climbing any corporate ladder at the time, because if you think about it, there isn't much work going on, so I wasn't taking on any more advanced responsibilities. So I thought, you know what, I will just go into property accounting within the same company and see what it's like. So I worked in the property accounting for 1 year in the same company, and then I moved to another company and I worked there for another year. So I worked a total of 5 years in real estate accounting. And then I just want to go over briefly about property accounting in this video, and I will talk about development accounting next video. So property accounting, what is it? So there are property management companies, either who own properties and manage them, or they don't own them but still manage those properties, right? If you see some companies that end with the word properties, that's the management companies we are talking about. So if you think about Oxford Properties, Brookfield Properties, Choice Properties, or even if it doesn't have properties at the end, there are other companies that are like CBRE or Quadreal. Those are the companies that manage properties for investment purpose. So they are going to own they're gonna own maybe office or retail shops, and they lease out the units to the tenants and they collect the rent. That's what their business is about. And of course they do the acquisition or disposition of the assets, but that's done by the asset management, the finance guys. Finance guys do the exciting stuff. Accountants, they do the property accounting, especially do the managing, doing the day-to-day operations or accounting stuff. So what is it? So there are two aspects of accounting. It's revenue and expenses. Revenue is pretty easy. When the leasing team sits down with the tenants, they negotiate the rent amount, a monthly rent amount, and then we charge them a fixed rent. So at least that's how the retail works, or the office. If we talk about some really I heard that some companies do percentage rent, which means the company charge the tenants based on the percentage of their revenue. But where I work, it's all about fixed rent, so no headache from there. the real headache comes from the expenses, because what happens is, to manage the company, to management the property, my bad, there are some costs that to be incurred. So utilities are the basic example. Repairs and maintenance, like such as like a roof or the road or the signage. We incur those costs, and we have the power, not the power, we have the right to charge back those costs back to the tenants. And usually it's like proportionate share, meaning if a tenant's lease is like certain square footage out of the entire like square footage of the property, then we just charge them back like proportionate share, which is pretty easy. But it gets complicated if it involves like a bigger tenant that has more like bargaining power. They will say, "Yup." They will say, "Hey, I know like your other tenants pay the proportionate share, but no, we don't want to do it because we are leasing a huge area of your property, so we want some like discount on it." And then they start putting in some like a weird like a calculation. They be like, "Oh, we want, instead of proportionate share, we want to multiply by whatever percentage, or we only want to pay like fixed amount. Like if you incur like $1,000 for the if the tenant is responsible for $1,000 for repair, we only want to pay you guys $500 max. Anything beyond that, like, we don't know. We are not responsible. So if we only incur like total of like $300, and their fixed like a payment is like $500, and then we are only incurring $300, then we are making $200. That's a $200 profit. But if we are incurring like $1,000, but they are only paying up to $500, then we are losing $500. So that's where the property accountant like comes in to all those calculations. And every month, the higher ups want to see where we are at with the like a cash management, like, or expense management, whether we are losing money or not, because they want to know like, oh, we want to know like if we agreed on like a bad deal, so they want to take that into consideration, and then take that into consideration when doing or signing like another lease with other tenant, something like that. So that aspect of the job is okay, actually. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty down to earth, because I mean, I like that part of the job. It involves like logics, and some people are not really good at those. Like, you have to read the leases, you have to show them in a way, you have to lay it out in a way that makes the tenants and our upper management like understand easily, right? Because tenants sometimes will come back and say, "Hey, how did you come up with this amount?" Because they sometimes have their own accountant and they expect X amount, but turns out we charge them like higher amount, and they will come back and say, "Hey, let's look at your calculation and do the comparison and stuff." So that part is like so that's what the property accounting is about. And then of course some auditors may ask the calculation, and then it's all about CAM, because rent is fixed. It's all about those expenses and charging back. So if you think about it this way, it's pretty interesting, but I think that's only like 10 or 20% of the job. I think maximum like 10%. Like the rest of them is about like a clerical work. Let's say I have to charge back the utilities, and I'm there like downloading like 40 PDF invoices from software, like accounting software, put them in order, so that when I send back the invoice to tenants, the backups are all there. And downloading the invoices and then reading the invoices and naming the invoices and putting together these invoices is time consuming. And for some reason, like, they don't want to automate it. I don't know how, if they didn't find a way to automate it, or they just simply do not have the capacity to automate it. But yeah, those are some like brain dead jobs, which I do not understand why accountant should be doing it. I think it's either tenant admin or APAR people should be doing, but a lot of time accountants are doing it. And another bad thing about property accountant is that everything falls on you. Sometimes APAR, what I mean by APAR is accounts payable and accounts receivable, and they do the very basic accounting work, like paying the invoices or charging back the invoices, and sometimes they mess it up. And when they mess it up, they usually come back to the property accountant and say, hey, we actually messed it up, can you fix it? I'm not sure if that has something to do with some access issue or something like that, but it falls on the property accountants, and without knowing it, you are doing like APAR work, which you didn't study at university for. Those are some basic work that non-accounting people can do. And I so far worked at like various companies, and usually like you stay longer, the more and more you do like AP and AR work, because accountants usually get things done faster than APAR people. And then if those APAR work is done by like offshore teams, like good luck with that, because they mess things up like all the time. I think the best exit like opportunity if in property accounting, unless you want to stay in property accounting forever, which I don't think a lot of people would like to do, because even if you climb up the ladder in property accounting, at the end of the day, you are still like property accountant. It's all about charging back tenants. That's about it. I think the best exit opportunity is to learn how to read this property accounting, like financial statements, and you join like asset management. So with that accounting knowledge, you can review the financial statements of these properties and make a decision whether to buy it or sell it or not. So that's what property accounting is. People say it's accounting, but from my point of view, it's a glorified like accounts payable, accounts receivable. Just more complicated, but I don't think you need like, you need to be like genius to do it, and definitely you don't need CPA to get a job or do a good job here. And I guess that's why I want to leave, because 95% of my coworkers don't have CPA, and then they get promotions and whatnot. And I don't really see much of a growth in this industry. So like I mentioned in the first video, I want to move into either finance or corporate accounting or FP&A mostly. I don't want to be like dealing with all this like clerical work. So if I have any like updates, then I will share. That's it for the video. Thank you.